What's going on, MBL? Welcome to the MBL Blitz podcast. I'm your host, TFA, and here with me today, I've got my co-host, JY. How's it going, JY?
Oh, it's going all right.
Hey, glad to hear it, man. Now, I want to start off this week. I want to discuss some big news that just came out of Green Bay, and that is the benching of Aaron Rodgers. It looks like Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood could officially be coming to an end in Green Bay, as Brett Hundley has been handed the keys to the car. And when I say car, I'm not really talking about being handed the keys to a brand new Ferrari. Hundley has been given the keys to something more along the lines of a broken down station wagon, because that is really where the season is going for the Green Bay Packers. Now, JY, I'm really interested to get your thoughts on the Hundley situation. You just got done facing him in his first start as the new quarterback. How do you look?
You know, the doors and the wheels have both fallen off this jalopy. Tampa Bay's defense, we got to him 7 times, pressured him 10 times, caused a fumble, got an interception. And to be fair, it's not really Rodgers' fault. It's not Hundley's fault. It's that offensive line's fault. Giving up that many sacks in one game, plus Aaron Rodgers has already gone down 32 times before he got benched. All is not right in Green Bay.
Yeah, being sacked 32 times up until this point in the season, Rodgers can't really be happy about that. He's definitely not happy about being benched. Do you project them to kind of go offensive line this offseason? Do you project them to focus their needs there and see kind of how that plays out and if they can protect the quarterback a little bit better?
I'm not really sure where you're going to go. The team now, their rushing attack is not really all that good. Their top rusher right now is averaging 2.2 yards a carry. Denard Robertson played in the game against the Buccaneers, and he was doing okay, but he's only averaging 3.2. So you got to either overhaul the offensive line or you have to play to your team's strengths and just start getting passing, a good quarterback replacement, or even stepping up some of these aging wide receivers.
Yeah, I agree completely. Now, do you think Hundley is going to be the answer at quarterback for the Packers, or do you think that they're going to look somewhere else this offseason?
I think starting Hundley, they're just going to end up having more questions than answers. He's not going to be the answer. I don't think he has what it takes. And it's going to be this is going to be one of those drafts you have to watch out to see if the Packers try to make a move up to grab somebody, or if they're just going to be complacent and stay where they are.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this quarterback situation plays out. I think it's one of the more intriguing ones in MBL. Do you think that this is going to be the last time we see Aaron Rodgers wearing a Packers uniform? And if so, do you think that this is going to be the end of his MBL career?
Well, he's not going to be happy holding a clipboard. I think he's going to probably be a free agent. He's going to get a chance to be a starter somewhere else. But if he can't get it done there, then he might as well hang it up and retire.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think this might be the end of Aaron Rodgers in the MBL. I just don't think things are going well for him. I think that he's, really angry up there in Green Bay. And I don't really think that there's going to be another team that really needs his veteran presence on the team. So we'll see whether or not this is, his last season in the MBL. I want to switch focus here, roll out a new segment. This is going to deal with our top 5 players of the week. Each week, we're going to run through this. We're going to pick out our top 5 guys that we thought did a great job these past few games in the MBL. First up on the docket this week, it's going to be Bears wide receiver Garif Cash. Cash in his last 2 games has totaled 8 catches for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns. His career totals before these 2 games were all 0. He didn't have a single, a catch. He didn't have a single yard. He had nothing. This guy burst onto the scene in weeks 10 and 11 for the Bears. I'd say that averaging over 100 yards per game after sitting the bench for nearly 2 years is pretty impressive. What do you think, JY?
I think it's just the right time for this kid. Alshon Jeffries is obviously getting older, and he's going to start to regress. Kelvin White's going to regress a little bit. Both of those two right now are leading the team in yardage above him, but they're also almost tripling him in the number of catches to do it. So this might be one of those dark horse situations.
Yeah, Cash definitely came out of nowhere. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep that momentum going for the Bears. Second player of the week this week is going to be free safety Marcus Gilchrist of the Jets. Gilchrist right now is on a tear this season. He's already gotten 8 interceptions through 11 games. In week 10, he actually snagged 3 interceptions alone. He's a major reason why the Jets are sitting atop the AFC East, and at age 30, he seems to be avoiding father time. He's having the best season of his career. JY, do you think that Gilchrist can keep this up for not only the rest of the season, but the next few years, or do you think that his window is closing and that the Jets should start looking into other options at free safety?
At free safety is one of those positions where age is actually a better number than, your speed or anything like that. You have to be one of the smartest people in the secondary to kind of help blanket coverage. As this guy's getting older, I think he's just going to keep getting better and better. But obviously, you're going to have to worry about injuries as he gets older. So maybe picking up a guy in the 3rd, 4th round would really help them. So by the time Gilchrist is ready to be done, they already have his replacement in the wings.
Yeah, I think that'd be smart. I think that it'd be smart to draft a guy now, give Gilchrist another year or two. If he keeps, performing at this level, he's performing at such a high level right now, even at 30. I don't think he's going to regress that much with how good of a season he's having. So I think having a guy waiting in the wings, like you said, is going to be great for him. My third player this week, and I know that this one's going to be a little sour for you, JY, this is a guy that could have been yours, and it's going to be defending MVP winner, Saints halfback Leland Alston. Alston, the past 2 games, has totaled 238 yards rushing to go along with 52 receiving yards and 4 total touchdowns. Now, JY, I know you're not happy about this guy being on another team, but it looks like Alston winning the MVP award wasn't really a fluke. However, he's not quite on pace with last year's numbers. Do you think he has any shot at repeating as league MVP this year?
I don't think he is going to. He's off pace. He is a great back, and yeah, he got sniped off my practice squad, and it's, still a little sore spot. But the guy's a good back. That was my mistake for leaving him on the practice squad. But I can tell you right now, in the last, I think it's 4 games, he did 69 yards, 36, 85, and then he just busted out a really good game at 153. I think this season, people are starting to figure him out. He's going to be streaky, so I think he's going to taper off here a little bit.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I don't think he's going to repeat his MVP, but he is currently 2nd in the league in rushing, so he could definitely take that rushing title down if he keeps it up. Number 4, my top 4th player of the week is going to be Cardinals cornerback Patrick Peterson. Everybody knows who Patrick Peterson is. He's one of the best, if not the best, cornerback in all of the MBL. Over the last 2 games, he's tallied 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and has a defensive touchdown. He's real hot right now. This Cardinals defense, is great. The Cardinals right now sit atop the NFC West. They have one of the best defenses in the league. They currently have the 2nd best pass defense in the league. And with Patrick Peterson, it's really easy to see why. Now, JY, how long do you think that Patrick Peterson can continue to be a shutdown corner in the MBL?
He's probably got another 2-3 seasons. That's what's really nice about the Arizona Cardinals is they don't put him in a position where he can't win every time he's on the field. They move him around. They put him in the slot. I mean, he plays everywhere, and he just takes advantage of his coaching staff knowing exactly how to get the best out of him.
Now, I'm going to throw you a little curveball here. Talking about Patrick Peterson, do you think that Patrick Peterson is the reason that this secondary is so great, or do you think that reason belongs to Tyrann Mathieu?
I think Peterson brought Mathieu up, and right now it's kind of a combination of the two. I don't know if this defense, one without the other, would actually be as good as they are. I think the tandem is what makes this defense one of the best.
I completely agree with you there. They call him the honey badger, and you can't have the honey badger without some honey. So I think Patrick Peterson is the honey to the honey badger. Coming in 5th this week, we're going to have Lions QB Matthew Stafford. The last 2 weeks, this is one of the most incredible stats I've seen in a long time. Stafford's only thrown 4 incompletions. To put that in perspective, he has 5 touchdowns in those last 2 games. So you're talking he has less incompletions than touchdowns thrown. To do that in 1 game is really incredible, but to do it over a 2-game span is truly impressive. JY, do you think that Stafford takes back his MBL MVP trophy and reclaims the spot as king of the MBL?
I don't think he ever lost his spot as the king of the MBL. I think Alston last year just kind of got hot and was the cool hip name because, we're all getting kind of bored with Stafford because he just keeps competing at such a high level that it's almost boring, where people don't really pay attention to him anymore because it's like, oh, yep, he's thrown for another 4,000 yards. Oh, well, just another season.
Yeah, it's really unbelievable what Bomber's been able to do with Stafford up there. Every season, season in and season out, you've got guys that are playing well at quarterback, and then the next season they seem to drop off. But when it comes to Stafford, this guy really doesn't ever drop off. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep up this pace, and it'll be really interesting to see if he can finish the season this strong. And I think the Lions could be one of the top contenders for an NBL Super Bowl this year.
They usually are about every season. The one stat to kind of keep out for is that Stafford has thrown more interceptions this year than he has in the previous 2 or 3. So just keep watching and see, maybe this is where we start to see a decline.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Definitely as the postseason race gets a little bit closer, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit here. We're going to switch over. We've got a guest appearance on the show this week. We've got Gub Kuiper Jr. Gub, how you doing tonight, man?
Good. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. Listen, I know you've been working real hard to get an official big board for the upcoming draft going, so I'm going to switch it over to you. Let's hear what you've got on your top 10 board before we head into some questions.
Yeah, I just came up with my top 10 board. Obviously, this will be updated throughout the year as more information becomes available. It's loaded in the quarterbacks. There's about 5 of them I could see going in the first round. But in my top 10, it's led by 2 quarterbacks. Jarrett Ripkowski and Asher Darby lead it. At number 3, I got Stephen Warfield, who I believe is the best pass rusher in this draft. 4, we got wide receiver Cortez Boger. It's a good receiving class. I don't see, there's not a lot of height in it, which isn't a end all be all, but that's why I got him at 4. He's the only one with height. He's about 6'2". At 5, you got linebacker Tracy Smallwood. I believe he's the best linebacker in this draft as of right now. Although keep an eye out for Savon Miles. He's really been turning some heads. At 6, cornerback Sean Cotton. Probably the top corner right now. It's not a very deep cornerback class. Linebacker Blake Ferrier comes in at 7. Number 8 is wide receiver Wesley Britton. I could see him slide a little bit. There's been some other guys coming on hot. The best route runner in the draft probably, which helps him a lot for being under 6 foot. Number 9, you got quarterback Steven Zott. Like I said, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in here. But I do believe he is a first rounder. And left end Tevin Ragland. It's between him and, like I said earlier, Stephon Warfield. Tevin Ragland is more of a 3-4 guy, so you don't see getting after the quarterback might be a little tougher in a 3-4 defense. He is able to play in the 43, so that's why he's in my top 10. But yeah, there's my top 10.
Yeah, now I heard that you have 3 QBs listed in your top 10 overall players on your big board. Do you think that this is the strongest quarterback draft class of the year up until this point in the MBL?
Absolutely. I've been doing it now for a couple seasons. Obviously, I've been in the MBL for about 3 or 4 seasons. I haven't seen one quite like this. Jarrett Ripkowski, huge arm. Asher Darby's gotten a little bit on the height. But they're both going to be top 5 picks in my opinion. I could see as many as 5, like I said earlier, going in the first round. 3 probably in the top 10.
Yeah, that's a really impressive list. I agree with you. From what I've seen from your big board, it's going to be interesting to see where these QBs are going to go. JY's got the next question for you.
All right, with all the QBs that you have, obviously I know of some teams that need to go quarterback, but I'm just kind of interested where you think these quarterbacks are going to end up.
Well, I was looking, if the draft were today, you got the 49ers sitting at 1, the Dolphins at 2. They both need a quarterback. Jawar Woodard for the 49ers has really, really been struggling. I believe recently he was actually benched for Blaine Gabbert. So, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know if Blaine Gabbert's coming in and being your quarterback. So I look for, it's toss-up between Ripkowski and Darby to be the number 1 pick if the 49ers are picking there. I believe they go at Ripkowski, and it's Dolphins sitting at 2. They just signed Brock Osweiler, I think, last free agency. Maybe the free agency before, but he's not the answer there. So I would see either Ripkowski or Asher Darby. Whichever one doesn't go 1, I could easily see going 2.
Don't you think that, Ripkowski being a SoCal boy would fit in really well with the Niners, though?
Absolutely. It's all about comfortability. It'd feel comfortable right off the bat, not far from home. So I could see Ripkowski fitting in real well in San Fran.
Now, of your top 10 guys, which player right now do you think has the best potential to be a Hall of Fame player?
Ripkowski's the easy answer, and that would be my go-to answer, but if I had to go somewhere else, I'd probably go with Stephen Warfield. He's got all the moves in the book. He's the best defensive end in this draft. He probably was the best defensive end even if he came out last year. So if I had to pick somebody, I'd probably go with Stephen Warfield out of LSU.
When you're talking about defensive linemen, you think about J.J. Watt and guys of his caliber. Do you think that he has the potential to be that next J.J. Watt type of guy?
Oh, absolutely. It was also between, like I said earlier, him and Tevin Ragland. Ragland is more of a little bit of a kind of a J.J. Watt type guy, as he can be a 4-3 end, or he can be a 3-4 come inside and play the 5 technique. But Stephen Warfield's got, he's 90 pounds. He's got, like I said, he's got all the moves. So either one of those guys I could see honestly being a J.J. Watt type player.
Yeah, perfect. Question number 4, we're going to switch over to JY again.
All right, so obviously we have the top 10 board, but do you have anybody kind of on your sleeper list that come combine time may jump up into that top 10?
Stephen Miles, I apologize. Like I said earlier, he's really been coming on. He's probably the best 3-4 outside linebacker in this draft. So I got my eye on him to kind of come up and sneak up into this top 10.
Now, which player in your top 10 right now do you think is actually going to be the biggest risk?
Probably wide receiver Wesley Britton. He's probably going to fall out of the top 10 once it's up there. There's been some other receivers that have really been coming on. Logan Jansen's really been making some noise down in Georgia. Michael Dyer at Nebraska. So if I had to pick somebody, it'd probably be Wesley Britton out of Nebraska to kind of fall out of the top 10.
Don't you think that their height is going to be an issue, though, for them to jump up that high?
It could be an issue, but, there's always receivers that are going in the top 10. There's 6, I believe, projected for the first round. Only one of them over 6 foot. Now, a lot of corners, there's always usually a running corners. Cornerback class this year is kind of weak. Only 2 or 3 that I could see worth drafting in the first round. So that would lead me over to receivers where they're short, but they're very good still. So, if I had to pick one, like I said, it'd be Wesley Britton to probably fall out of my top 10 with, Logan Jansen really making really been impressive.
Gub, I want to thank you for coming on. That was going to be our 5 questions. Gub Kuiper Jr. here. He's going to be with us again, running down everything as we approach draft time here. I want to take the time to definitely thank you, Gub, for coming on the show tonight. Thanks a lot for taking the time. Come on and give us your current big board.
I appreciate you having me. I look forward to the next time, and good luck.
Thank you. We'll have you again real soon. That's going to do it for this episode of the MBL Blitz podcast. Be sure to tune in next week to the Commissioner Corner podcast, as Bomber and Lip are going to put on a great show next week. And then again in 2 weeks, as we'll be back here with my co-host JY talking everything and anything MBL.